We're absolutely blessed in this country. We have fresh water everywhere. You have bog water, lake water, river water, groundwater. We've got rainwater coming down as we speak. Later on, we're looking into a winter full of floods and rain. And it's in these times that we tend to take for granted that water is actually a very precious resource. And um, later on down the line, the discipline of storing water, filtering water, might be something that could be very relevant later on. So, based on my own story, I started last year. Last year during lockdown, we bought a 12-foot a swimming pool, about 12 foot wide and 1 meter deep, and it was just a nightmare last year. Firstly, when we set it up, the location, we wanted it reasonably close to the house, but not too far away either. So when I set it up on ground that looked level, later on when the pool filled up, there was nearly 1 inch of a clearance on one side and it was overflowing on the other side and in danger of tipping over altogether. Um, Another thing that we noticed was that when it came to filling it up, I did not like the idea of just connecting a hose up to the tap and just running it in for about 4, 5, 6 hours. So straight away I decided to start collecting rainwater. And over the course of about 3 months, it was by late July, the pool was finally full. And then we came to the next problem. The filter that we had, it's a reasonable filter pump that we have on it, and it worked very well for the first week or so. But by the end of the first and second week, you ended up having to take out the filter, clean it off, and put it back in and try and filter it out. But by July, August, like nature was really fighting against us, and by the end of August, you had a pool full of algae and microorganisms, and it was fascinating to watch them, but there was absolutely no way anybody was going to be paddling in that. So we did a little bit of research near the end of the summer. We looked on YouTube and Google, and we realized what we should have been doing was chemically shocking the water, is where you basically put in a measurement of bleach, and what it'd do is it kill the algae and the microorganisms, and it'll be fine for a few days, and then it'll start greening up again. So all in all, in 2021 we had roughly, I'd say, about 3, maybe 4 afternoons with the use of this pool, and after that we couldn't go near it. So by the end of September, I emptied out that pool, I cleaned it as best I could, put it into storage, and started thinking, what am I going to do with it next year? So one of the first things that I did, I built myself a small rainwater collection system where the water was coming off the gutter and it was flowing directly into a bin. Put a tap on the bin, run the hose out. So I figured that out. Then I looked at my next site. I moved the pool slightly further away from the house, and by God, I went around this area with a spirit level and I leveled it out as best I could, and I raked up all the stones, because what was happening the previous summer was, like with people walking on the pool, it tended to disturb the ground underneath and the stones would slowly start emerging, and later on you'd start feeling, you didn't want to step on that area or you'd burst the pool. So I leveled out the area as best I could. Then I put a roll of carpet and old carpets and mats down on top of it, and then I put a tarpaulin underneath it, just to give it that extra bit of support as well. Also, just another point, I realised the legs, back in 2021, the legs were sitting directly on the earth in the garden, and of course whenever the pool splashes water fell out of the pool, or whenever it was wet, the pressure on those legs was pushing those legs deeper and deeper into the garden, so much so that the pool itself was starting to sink and there was more water coming out. So the following year what I did was I just put small tiles under each one of those legs to even out the pressure a little bit. So going into 2022, I was able to fill the pool from March, April. There was much less water handling to be done. It was just a matter of waiting for the rain to come and the water would just flow straight into the pool. On top of that, we bought ourselves a black cover. You get a 15-foot cover. It comes separate with the pool, which was a great idea as well because that stopped all the debris and stuff falling down into the pool. And it was black, so it's kind of stopped all the photosynthesizing that was going as well. On top of that, we had a length of tarpaulin that could cover the pool as well. So to give it that extra layer of protection to stop leaves and stuff from blowing into it. And literally whenever it was time to take out the pool, all you had to do was take the two covers off. And there's the water. In terms of filtration, what I started doing was using a net. I was able to scoop up a lot of the algae that would be growing. Algae grows. Like every time you get that water to a neutral balance, nature starts fighting you. So on a regular basis, a day-by-day basis, you would have to go out to the pool and spend about 10 minutes skimming all the stuff off of it and taking any insects that were swimming around in it as well. Okay, and on top of that, you would filter it through the normal filter as well. And we had a regular shocking done to the pool, which is basically you add a measure of bleach into the pool, you shock all the algae out of it, kill all the organisms, and you'd wipe away all that detritus, and the pool would be fine. You'd put in a measure of bleach, and you'd wait about 2 days, and then you could step into it. And no, I didn't get any burns or anything like that out of it. And basically from May to June to July, to the most of July, I was able to spend nearly every evening out paddling in it, swimming in it. It was damn cold, but I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience, and to be able to build up my resilience to the cold water was even better. So by the end of July, we went away for a couple of weeks of holidays, came back, the pool was green again. So at that stage I realised, you know what, I'll just empty out all the water and start over again. So August, we're into September now, it's about quarter full at the moment. Hopefully in the next couple of days it should be reasonably full, because October is a special month. Mental Health Awareness Ireland have this campaign running, it's called Coldtober. What they're saying is if you go out for a cold shower every day during the month of October, what you're doing is you'll be shocking your system physically. Your body gets used to the cold and it tightens up all those muscles and it increases your circulation, it boosts your immune system. And on top of that, when you take a cold shower, whatever thoughts that are floating in your head, they evaporate fairly quickly. And that's good for your mental health as well. So hopefully going into October, I'll have my pool ready and take it from there. Where do I go with my water experience into 2023? I do want to explore the whole area of sterilizing water, but I do know at this point now that if I over sterilize the water in that pool, really you're just fighting against nature. But it'll be a good exercise to do, and it would stand to me, like over the next few years, that if I know how to look after, store water and filter it to the point that it's sterile and that it can be used for various other applications like cooking or freshwater drinking, things like that, like it's a skill that's well worth getting into. But again, it's a big commitment, and you're nearly better off starting off very small, even for just to look after a jar of water for a few months, and just to see how difficult it is to actually keep that water clean, clear and usable. That's all I have to say. Take care.